Welcome to HERizon Podcast, Episode 3.
A podcast empowering women to heal, overcome trauma, and embrace change. Through our community, we strive to inspire women to create a future where they lead with love, confidence, and courage, helping break boundaries and reach new horizons.
On today's episode, what are we talking about, sister?
A whole bunch of things. How to stay out of situationships.
How to avoid toxic people.
Yeah, how to pick the right partner.
Yes, we're going to be covering a little bit of everything. I think it should be a fun episode.
And how to attract what you want out of life.
Yes.
Yeah. Let's get into situationships.
She said straight to it. Well, I mean,
first of all, who hasn't been in a situation?
Who hasn't been in a situation? Okay, what's your definition of a situationship?
I think friends with benefits has evolved into a situationship.
Okay, yes.
Yeah. So I think that's what it's known today. But essentially, you know, you meet someone, you hang out.
You catch feelings.
Yeah. It leads.
There's attachment.
It leads to things.
Yeah.
And then you're in a situationship. You wake up one day and you're in a situationship.
And you don't even know how you got there. But there you are. Just taking it all.
Just waiting for someone to text you, waiting for someone to call you.
Just on call at whatever time. And then they text you and then you have to wait like an hour or two or whatever to not text back. So it's a whole
You can't text
game.
back right away.
It's a whole game. It's a whole
Yeah.
You know, it's funny because after being in a relationship for 13 years and, you know, being in it for such a long time, and then coming back out here into this single world in the generation we're in today, that was very interesting, I'll say. That was
yeah.
I mean, the last time I was single, I was 19, 20, and now I am in my mid-30s, and things are different out here. There's like a lot of I don't know.
Yeah, there's the dating apps.
Oh my God. Yes, actually. That's new. For that, to me, that was very, very, very new.
Yeah.
Dating apps.
Totally new.
How do you feel about dating apps?
I feel like, for me personally, it feels like a last resort.
Okay.
You know, I love the idea of
meeting somebody,
going out and meeting someone in person and seeing someone's energy, and like if there is chemistry in person,
yeah,
like you'll know right off the bat if there's a spark. True. Whereas like going through like even social media, like DMs, dating apps, like you don't know if there's that instant like spark.
Yeah, true.
And so I feel like sometimes you can like waste your time because you're trying to build a connection and you don't know if like once you meet, if anything's going to be there, if you get to that. Right. Because a lot of those don't go anywhere, right?
Yes. Very true. Well, I mean, I recently started putting myself out there, I guess you would say, not in that sense like that, but like in the dating world. And I did start off with like dating apps because I wasn't really going out and I wasn't meeting people and I didn't know where to start. You know, I'm out here like just blind, like where am I going? And
yeah,
friends suggested dating apps and I was like so against it. I remember thinking like that, like you said, that's a last minute resort for me. Like I rather meet somebody organically, but to be honest with you, I wasn't going out, so that wasn't gonna happen. And I was like, let's try this. And I felt like I was at the grocery store shopping and it was just like and I was like, oh, it's like at the tip of your fingertips. And I feel like, to be honest with you, that's dangerous because it takes away the fun in dating because you have so many options. There's like so many options. Like, okay, if you don't text me, well, this person texts me, and who's faster or what's more interesting? Like it's so many options.
Yeah.
That I believe it takes away that connection
Like
that true
the
connection,
organic.
the organic connection.
Yeah.
There's nothing, I have nothing against dating apps either. I believe that. So I know a lot of people that actually have built
Met.
relationships through
Yeah.
that. But, I mean, I'm not opposed to it, but at the same time, like I said, it's just,
Yeah. I mean, if you're just in the house and you're like caught up in your work and like
mm-hmm.
your life and some people enjoy their mortgage. They don't want to leave the house. So dating apps are a way to like meet people without having to like leave the house,
Yeah. I mean, I
So,
feel like social media is the same thing in other words, but I feel like social media is a little bit more personal, or it can be, I think, depending on the person and what they put out there, right?
right.
But like you have a little bit of a different vibe to you on social media versus like a dating app. A dating app, you're literally just, that's the purpose of it. That's what you're putting out there. And
Yeah, I
yeah.
just don't feel like you can capture the essence of someone in like X amount of pictures or like a few prompts or whatever. I just don't feel like it does
No, I agree.
anyone
I agree with you. I
justice
agree. Yeah.
because I feel like there's so much more to people and like, what maybe you're like going through and like what you wouldn't typically go for, but then say you met that person in person, like
Okay.
you might have a whole different like connection vibe that you just wouldn't even know. So I feel like that's like a disadvantage because I'm like,
Yes.
there's a whole human on the other side of this, but it kind of feels like, are these people even real sometimes? Like
I can definitely see that why you would definitely think that, and I agree with you. I feel like, I mean, I haven't been dating or really out here like that. I put myself out there for a certain amount of time and I was turned off really quickly by it. So I'm kind of like just back and I'm just chilling and
we're chilling.
I'm chilling. It's
Yeah. Well, whatever is for you is gonna find you.
I'm a strong believer in that. I know
say
that,
that all the time,
for sure.
but
For sure. I mean, yeah, that
yeah, there's nothing wrong with taking a break and like regrouping and like just being on your own.
Okay, so red flags. What not to look for, what to look for. I don't know. I think we all have different we're
all looking for different things.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are some of the red flags for you?
For me personally, well, in general, I've noticed these days, I feel like people don't approach people as much anymore.
Yeah, for sure.
I feel like everyone's scared of like rejection or everyone's scared of like, just scared basically. So I think that someone that, is like brave enough to like approach you, like kudos just for doing that.
Okay, so I believe that is confidence to me, and like they're very in tune with who they are for them to be able to come up to you and be bold like that, because I believe a lot of people don't have that nowadays. It's easy. It's like if you look intimidating, or I feel like if you look like you might say no, they are probably not going to come talk to you. They rather go for the safe zone and like someone probably.
Yeah, but like what is approachable? Like what makes you approachable? Like who even knows, right?
Yeah.
Like someone who might be approachable to you might not be approachable to anyone else. So I think you just got to go for what you want to go for, to be honest.
I agree.
Yeah.
I've had those where like their friends come up and talk to me for them, and that's a no. I'm like, why is it so hard for you to directly come and speak to me, and now you're going through a third person?
Yeah,
so to me, that's a turn off.
That's a bad look.
That's a turn off automatically. You're not confident enough to come and speak to me and just, get my name or whatever it is you sent a friend. That's to me, I don't like. I want a man who is very secure within himself and confident enough to come talk to me.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I feel like sometimes like when you're out and about, like there's other factors at play. Like even if they do approach you, like it will be at the end of the night, like after they've had like
After they,
10
yeah,
drinks, like
liquor courage.
liquid
Yep,
courage,
yep, liquor
you
courage.
know, and then they're slurring like, hey, girl.
And
Like,
then at that point, it's like, ooh, no. Maybe earlier in the night, but
yeah.
right now it's a no.
Yeah.
Or I've seen a lot that they're looking at you all night and then they just
Well, yeah, they
don't
wait.
even talk. No, but some of them,
Oh, they don't
they
even
don't even
talk.
talk. They leave with somebody else. And I'm just like, the whole night, you were just locking eyes and doing all that for you to just, I don't know. If you're out at the club, you're not going to find your man there. Let me tell you that. You're not going to find a husband
Your man
there.
is not at the club.
Your man is not at the club. Sorry to break it to you. The club is the club. Like it's meant to serve a purpose. It's not meant for you to find your man. Okay, that's all I have to say. Because there's nothing good at the club. I'm sorry, it's not.
Yeah. So if you're at home avoiding the club or not going to the club, like keep doing what you're doing, girl. You have a better chance.
Look, you're gonna see me at the club. Okay, but I know better than that. There's no way you're gonna catch me dating somebody or taking somebody serious from the club. I go and have a good time with my friends, and you're gonna see me just doing my own thing, literally vibing.
Yeah.
For me to get no. Sorry.
Yeah. So what are like red flags?
Red flags. Clearly someone that goes to the club. I'm just kidding. No, I think it depends. Honestly, I'll tell you this. I am not attracted at all to what I used to be attracted at all. Like,
yeah.
and now I look at a lot of things that I didn't look at before. Like how they approach you.
Yeah. How they
right?
approach you.
How they communicate with you.
Exactly.
The respect that how they're willing to speak. I mean, not even willing to speak, but how they talk to you, the attention they give you. I notice a lot of flags now. I notice when you're gaslighting. I notice when you're love bombing me. I notice the way you're texting me. I notice inconsistency. That I can tell communication. Just you're dragging me along. I can see that. You're texting me and spamming me like everybody else. I can see that. So it's just like, yeah, I see what I never saw before. And now because of that, I feel like it limits me to a lot of situationships because I see all that and I refuse to go into that.
It's kind of like people don't know how to get into a real relationship but situationships are like the default. Like
it's easy.
They're just like they just happen all the time.
Yeah.
And it's like it's kind of like, yeah, people don't know what a real relationship entails. It's so like a foreign concept. Like it's so hard to get there.
Yes.
Yeah, it takes like so much effort. And
well, because there's so much to it. You have to really kind of get to know that person and ask all the questions. And I feel like besides the basic what do you do? And like, you know, the basic questions you have to, I think, really truly get to know that person. And in order for you to get to know that person, they have to communicate efficiently, consistently. Yeah. Flags. What flags? What to not look for, right?
So like avoidance.
Okay.
Like, you know, I think even like setting a date and not following through with it, like avoiding it somehow, rescheduling.
Oh,
not doing what you said you were going to do.
That's a big one for me.
I think especially for women, like it's super important that the man follows up.
Be a man about your word, please. There's so many. You can say so much, but can you do it? And are you about it? Start with that. Show the actions behind that. Don't just say, "Hey, let's go out," and then don't follow up. And then I feel like that's how situations. But see, that's.
I mean, I'm like, what if you do follow through? What if you do say what you wanted to say and you do what you said you were going to do and it just doesn't work out?
That's fine.
And you can be honest with that other person and just tell them, like, you know, it's so hard to address, like, you know, I'm just not feeling it. Like, respectfully, I'm not feeling it. Like, you can say that, you're entitled to express that, because ultimately, right, most people like believe in monogamy. They want one partner
Yeah.
in life. So you're only going to end up with one person. You can't say yes to everyone. So you have to keep looking, and it's okay to be a person of your word, follow through with your actions, and still be like, you know what, we tried it. It's not working for me. I'm sorry. Respectfully, I'm sorry, but I think you're a great person, and then move on and keep
would be so
looking.
easy if it really did work out like that, to be honest with you. If it was that straightforward, where it's like you did go on a date and that, you didn't have a connection, another person was so honest about like, hey, you know what, this is where I want it to go, and it's either, oh, I think you're attractive, let's
see where it goes.
Yeah, or you know what, I'm not interested. It's just there wasn't a connection there. Or even if it's not a relationship, hey, I want a friendship. Let's see where this goes. And then maybe what if the other person's looking for or something?
Yeah, or even just be upfront with your intentions. Like, just be honest, like, what have you got to lose? You don't know this person, you're meeting them. Like, just be honest. And that way, like, later on, if it's not working out, you can just be like, hey, I was honest from the beginning. Like, this is what I was looking for. And, if you're at a bridge, cross that bridge and move on.
Yes, but don't be leading people on. Or you know what? Now I've been hearing rosters are a thing, having well, I guess have always been a thing, but there's a name for them, because when I was younger, it was just who you spoke to and, the amount of people you spoke to. But now it's like a roster thing. So I guess that's a thing. People have rosters, and they have different, I guess there's people, I don't know what would that be?
I mean, people with rosters, like, they have more energy than me, let me tell you, because I don't know, like, how you can maintain the roster. Like, I don't know. I feel like there's, like, a whole, like, art behind it, like, a whole way
you gotta
they
have
go
game
about
for
it.
that. You gotta have game, and you gotta have time for that, because the amount of people you have to text and the conversations you have to keep going and the back and forth, that's a lot. I hardly have time to text like my kids sometimes, because my day's so crazy, and to check up. Imagine like having 5, 8 people to text.
I don't even call my mom back.
I mean, but to be honest, I do believe that you should, if you are dating, you should not just be closed off to one person. I believe that you should get to know multiple people. I do believe that. I believe that don't just go off to the first one, because
don't put all your eggs in one basket.
Yeah, don't do that. I think that you should be open and be okay with dating multiple people and getting to know them, because what if one doesn't, why until
you get to a point where someone's like ready to have that conversation with you, like, hey, can we be exclusive? Then
don't be exclusive to somebody you're just talking to. Yeah, don't do all that. Be exclusive to someone that, like you just said right now, that said, hey, I
oh yes,
yes, that's
someone that's willing to have a conversation with you about it, and that's what they want.
Not somebody that drags you on and just tells you.
It's intentional. Yeah, but until you get to that point with someone, like, go out, explore, have fun. Don't explore,
whatever makes you happy, and how much energy you have to give out and vibe with, you do that. That's what you
but stay away from people that are not showing you consistency, that are not communicating, that are disrupting your peace of mind.
Yes. Look out for the red flags. And we were talking about the red flags. What's another red flag that you would say that's a no for you?
Well, I mean, there's pink flags too. We were talking about that.
Pink flags. Okay, what are the pink flags?
The pink flags, I don't know. It's like something that's a little off, but it could go both ways, Like, say someone took too long to get back to you, but they're like, I'm sorry, I had a really busy day. And it's like the truth.
They communicated with you that they had a busy
Right.
day, as opposed to they just washed it off and they were like, "Oh, how's your day going?" But you didn't communicate why you didn't text me 2 days ago, or like
Yeah.
so
Also,
on.
like the like texting habits, like some people are just not great texters.
Yeah, true.
So there's like patterns there that you have to look out for. Like,
Mhm. For sure.
which when you're just meeting someone, that can be confused for like lack of effort, right?
Yes.
Yeah. But I think then you voice like, hey, I'm not a great texter. Like, give me a phone call, call me, FaceTime me.
Right.
Like,
And that's when you speak of what you like. Like you said, some people aren't texters. What if they want to call?
yeah.
Yeah, or a FaceTime. I think that's cool, FaceTiming. Nowadays, I feel like that's great that there's FaceTime because there's no catfishing.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no catfishing. So
I
there's
think,
no reason why in 2024 anyone should be getting catfished. I'm sorry. Why? No, that's a no for me. FaceTime, Zoom. Now Instagram has where you can call and FaceTime that person. WhatsApp. I don't know. There's so many.
there's so many.
So many platforms that you can use to
Yeah.
literally see somebody across wherever, New York, the world. I don't know, but
Yeah.
there's no way that anyone should be getting catfish in 2024. I'm
yeah.
sorry.
And like, you know, like make them a little bit less of a stranger when you go out and meet them, you know, like
Yeah.
try to like make sure that they are who they say they are, you know, like
Oh,
it's
God.
tough out here.
It really is. Okay. Well, I mean, let's see. I think that some red flags would be, okay, wait, would you be okay with dating a person with a child? Is that a flag for you, or is that a pink flag, or is that?
So I think for people that don't have kids, like, I think probably not.
Okay.
Because like if you don't have kids, you've gone through the process of, you know, doing what you have to do to not have kids.
Right.
And you kind of want that. But I know there's a lot of people that are okay with being step parents. And I think that's like beautiful, you know?
Oh, yeah.
If you have the capacity to be someone's stepmom or stepdad and treat them with all the love and respect that they deserve, then by all means, like, you should be that person. But I know there's some people that are like, you know, waited so long to have kids, or like waited for the right person, and they're going to keep waiting, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. That's true.
Yeah.
I mean, at first, getting back into, being single, right? I was like, when I'm ready to date, would I want to date somebody with kids? At first, I was like, I don't know if I want to add to it. I mean, I have two of my own. I'm not sure. But now I feel like that would be ideal because they would understand that, you know,
Kids
I have
come
responsibilities.
first.
Exactly. And I can't just drop what I'm doing to go out and hang out with you. It needs to be scheduled. It needs to be in the calendar. If it's not in my calendar, it's not happening.
Right.
Yeah.
And
so
someone with kids would understand that.
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like, I do think people with kids like should date other people with kids, because blended families are like a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
And they understand that their kids come first.
For sure. They understand that responsibility.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they take that into account for sure. Because time is our time is a lot more valuable. I don't have free time like that to just like, I have to make it, you know, and go around it.
And then if it works out, like you can bring all the kids together and it'll just be like.
Is there a time frame before you introduce the kids to somebody? What do you say?
I think everyone has their own time frame. I think definitely make sure you're in like a serious, committed relationship.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think that, you know, you should introduce your kids to just anybody right off the bat. I think that you should be very careful who you bring around your children, especially because, you know, just because you're in a situationship or you get into one doesn't mean that you should bring the children along for that situationship. Like, just, you know, keep that between you. Because what if you're dating that person and it doesn't work out in 3-4 months, you know, or 5 months or.
Right. Yeah. And like have conversations with your kids, like, that, hey, this is a possibility in the future. Someone might come in and, just kind of prepare them for that so that
For sure.
when it does happen, it's not a surprise to them,
That's actually a great suggestion, honestly. I think that it makes it easier on the children and they're not surprised, especially if you're coming out of like a long-term relationship. I had that conversation with my oldest first, and I told her, eventually, not now, not anytime soon, but in the future, just so you're ready and it doesn't, you don't think like I'm trying to. She understood. She understood. My little one is more like, you're never going to get married and you're never going to love anybody else and you're mine. But it's obviously,
yeah,
because of she wants me to herself, but I think she'll be happy.
It's also probably like the age,
For sure.
The older she gets, the more like she will understand.
Yeah.
And,
But I mean, something that I did tell my daughters is that I will never bring somebody that I am not sure of that I would want to bring into their life, which means that I already got to know that person in a pretty in-depth, I guess what, like, I already know that person pretty well. It's not somebody that I'm, someone that I am comfortable with bringing in to my children's life.
Trust around your kids.
For sure. And that's going to be it's going to be an asset to our relationship. I'm also not looking for someone to help me raise my children because that's my job. And I feel like they're just going to be added and they're going to understand their role.
Yes.
And I feel like that takes time. You have to get to know somebody and you have to, build that. So that was a conversation for sure.
Yeah. All right. So how do you attract that person? Do you believe in the law of attraction?
To an extent, yes. I do, actually.
Okay.
Because I believe that if you are, whatever you throw out is what you will receive back. So I feel like if you feel like you have a little list, right? I think everybody has an imaginary list of the person that they would like to, right? So I feel like you manifest that, but you also work on that within yourself. I feel like you will attract that.
Okay. So how do you stay patient and trust the process? How do you do that?
How do you stay patient and trust the process?
Yeah. Like manifesting your future, manifesting a future partner. How do you stay patient?
That's actually great. I think that people don't know how to be patient when it comes down to that. I believe that so many people want to rush into something that they put themselves into situations or relationships that are toxic.
Yeah.
Because they don't want to wait because you got to think about the way I see it is like you have to do the work internally as well in order for you to be that healthy person for whoever you're looking for. And a lot of people I feel like they don't have the patience to do that. So they settle for whatever comes because they want a relationship. And that settling comes with a lot of unhealthy behavior and just a toxic relationship because you didn't really get to know that person or really get to spend time learning yourself to what you like or don't like. You're just willing to take whatever because you want to be in a relationship. And you don't want to be lonely, or some people can't be alone,
right.
So I feel like if you give yourself time to be alone, get to know what you like, what you don't like, date around, because dating actually gives you an insight as to what you will like in a person and what you won't like in a person. You get what I'm saying? So I think it's like really get to know yourself first before and be patient.
Yeah.
With it.
Dating is research, honestly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dating is research because you figure out like maybe things that you thought you were into, like you find out like your mind changes.
Yeah.
Like, no, actually, I'm going to go another direction,
Yeah.
So dating is research in that way that every time that you put yourself out there and you're open and, willing to meet people, you learn more about yourself.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
You learn more about yourself, and you just got to trust the process. I know it's like hard to do that because it's hard. It's easier to end up in a situationship than not end up in a situationship.
Yes.
Yeah. So
because you're willing to take less in a situationship. For a relationship, I feel like a relationship, you're asking so much of this person, and if that person's not ready, then, but some people, just to have that person, will take that.
Yeah, like you'll sacrifice what standards you thought you had. You'll lower them for someone. You'll change yourself to be what they're looking for. Like a lot of that goes into it. And I think it's just important to remember, like, they're not the only person in the world.
There is a lot of fish in the sea, and you will find your fish when the time is right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's like, you have to stay open, because you know what? That next person, that could be it. Or like, even that next person could show you that there's more out there.
You know what? Sometimes looking at situationships, sometimes those will teach you what there is and what there isn't out there. And I think, like, to me, I feel like everything's a learning experience, even relationships that didn't work. I believe that everyone you meet in your path is you're meant to meet them for a reason, and they're supposed to teach you something, whether it's good or bad, but you learn from it.
Yeah.
And I feel like they get you ready for whoever's supposed to be that one person.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
so sometimes you got to go through that heartache.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
That's why they say people are in your life for a season and a reason, and then that's it.
That's my motto, for sure.
Yeah. So you have to know that, can't force anything that's not supposed to be, like.
And let it go when it's time to. Like, we keep asking, in my relationship, I kept asking, like, show me signs, and there was left and right signs, but I would ignore them because you want it to work. Like, you want to make it work. Sometimes their season is over. They serve their purpose, and it's time to move on to the next one. So I strongly believe, like, when it's time to let go, you got to let go. Don't try to make it work, because then it gets much more uglier and unhealthy. And then that's when you put yourself to more things because you're trying to make it work. Yeah. And it's like, God, the universe is telling you you're not supposed to be here, and they serve their time, and it's time to go. But
yeah. Like, follow your instincts, trust your gut.
100%. That's, if there's one thing I learned, is to trust my intuition. Your intuition is there to guide you and protect you. Yes. And trust it. If you don't feel comfortable, or you don't feel at peace in it, or you feel something's wrong, it's probably because there is something
If you're
wrong.
Confused, like, at that point you need to ask yourself, like, should you remove yourself from the situation? Like, is it that time? And, like, be honest with yourself.
Look at the pros and cons. Literally, look at the pros, look at the cons. Look at how they make you feel, what they do for you, what are they, bringing to the relationship, and then look at you'll know which one outweighs which. Yeah,
I think for, like, people too, that they're more, like, in tune with emotions, and they're more like, but they're going through a hard time and all this stuff. Like, you have to remember, like, if you want to get what you want to get, like, if you want to find the partner that you want, then you have to put yourself first.
You do. And I feel like, you have to look at how they treat you, how they communicate with you, what is it that you want long term. If they're already like situationships, they're just there for what it's there for. I'll text you when I need you. I'll call you when I need you, or when I want. And I feel like it's more like a dragging along just to keep that person there.
Yeah,
for
it's like
a
convenience thing.
Right. But it's kind of like, is that really what you want? Is that how you want to be treated? Like, I think you have to, like, have standards and a level of self-respect for yourself to either want that or not want that. And you know what? If you're fine with, if that's what you want, and in that moment you're in that season of your life where you don't want anything serious and you're okay with that, then that's fine. I feel like there's minority of people that can have a situationship without getting too many emotions attached to it. But I feel like it comes with you knowing exactly what it is and not putting emotions into it. Because I feel like situationships is kind of like a thing where you're supposed to friends with benefits, right? You text me whenever we want to hang out. But I feel like nowadays they mix it with the emotion of like texting you and keeping you there and the entertainment of it. So I believe it's easy for people to catch feelings when there's more communication or constant, right? Or consistent. They're texting me every day. They're, DMing me. They're looking at my story. They're doing this and that. They're giving me attention. And it could be any attention. It could be minimal attention, but it's attention. And you're taking it like, oh my God, they're really feeling me. But in reality, it's like they're just doing what they're doing with 5 other ones, So I feel like you need to learn the difference between like true, genuine attention and just attention just to keep you there.
Yeah. And I feel like don't be afraid to get to a point where you want answers. Like you want to know what's going on. Like you want to say like, hey, this has been fun, but like, where do you see this going? Like if you get to that point, like do not suppress your feelings because you're at that point. Like address it, know the truth, and the truth will set you free.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think, we don't want to hear what we don't want to hear. And it's okay. Like we're going to be fine. Like it's going to be okay. Like we can move forward.
Bye. Deuce. It's sometimes it's as simple as like maybe not even texting that person back or just leave it. I mean, why do you owe explanations to somebody that doesn't communicate efficiently to you or consistently, right?
Right.
But I think it's easy to get feelings and catch feelings and get attached. You were saying something about like it says scientifically that the woman that sleeps with the man automatically gets attached, or what were you saying earlier?
Yeah. So like when a woman, she hangs out with the man in that way. Oxytocin released in her brain and she will start to get attached. Whereas like men fall in love a different way. It's more so quality time with them. So if like they're hanging out with you constantly and they catch themselves missing you, that's how they know that they're catching feelings.
Okay. Well, I feel like that's a given, right? But I feel like a lot of women think it's, I'm not going to get attached. It's okay. But then...
Famous last words.
Then you go and you get attached and then you're in a situationship and then it's a whole thing. But
yeah.
How
do we manifest that person that we're looking for? How do we navigate out of these situationships?
I think it's working on yourself, learning what you like, what you don't like, what you will allow, what you won't allow. I think it's walking in that energy as well. I'm a huge believer, like I told you, that whatever you throw out there is what you will attract. And I believe that, you one day in the future when I am ready, I will attract that person for me. But I feel like I'm not even that person. So I'm not ready for that yet. So until then, I'll continue to work on myself and, show up as the best person for myself. And that person will be attracted to me wherever we meet,
Yeah, your energy will attract 100%. That energy.
But until then, I'm chilling.
Yeah, but also like when people show you who they are, believe them, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many red flags that I now can see about my previous relationship that I didn't see when I was younger. So now I can spot, like I told you, I can spot those away. So I'm like, I can notice an unhealthy person right away. I can notice their traits. I can notice, their characteristics. Yeah.
How do we ensure that our past experiences or traumas like don't get in our way of like manifesting our future partner?
Okay. How do we, it's definitely, like I said, I know, I think it's working on yourself. I think it all leads back to that, because if you work on yourself, you're not going to have the same pattern and you're not going to attract the same thing or fall for the same thing.
Yeah.
Right?
I think being in a relationship is so intimate. Like that person knows you so well. They get to
Yes.
know you really well.
Yeah.
Like probably better than anyone, just
Hmm.
because of the aspect of the relationship. So I think like if you have any trauma, if you have any suppressed feelings, if you have any of that, it's gonna come up and it's probably gonna come up
Oh,
in your
yes.
relationship. Yeah. So if you don't work through that beforehand, like that's kind of what you're setting yourself up for. Like you really have to look deep in, and do the work, do
Yeah,
the inner work, as they say.
for sure. I feel like if you don't work on yourself and heal those traumas, like you said, they're going to come out. Um, I've experienced that. And I saw triggers that I didn't know I had that were attached to my previous relationship. And I was like, oh my God, that was an eye opener. Like, that is true. That is 100% true. It does follow you if you don't work on it. And you do bring that toxic person from that previous relationship into the new one if you don't
Yeah.
like
Or you
work on yourself.
project.
Oh yeah.
You project, like it
Hmm.
could be a whole different person, different circumstance, but you're still wounded from that last one.
Yeah.
You haven't given yourself the time or the space to grow, move on, heal from it. And that's super important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like not people are talking about healing, and healing can be in so many different ways, but it's just really truly working on yourself. Like, I feel like people think that healing their trauma looks like a certain way, but I believe that in whichever way you heal and whatever helps you through what you're going through, but you're also growing through that and seeing and self-reflecting as to this is what I have to, I have to work on, or this is what, oh my God, because you are a product of your environment. If you come from an unhealthy, toxic relationship, you became that in that relationship, and it's not so easy to just get out of it because you're in a mental, like, you're in a I don't know how to say it, but like you're stuck in that mental space because that's all you've known for such a long time, or whatever the time period being is. So if you don't work on that part of yourself, you're going to bring that into the new relationship. And I feel like that's why we see people that go from one relationship to the next relationship and it not working out, because you're bringing that with you. And now you're adding to that person that is with you, added things for them to work on, help you work on, when that's something that I feel like you should work on within yourself.
Oh, yeah.
Because now you added strain to the relationship. This is supposed to be completely new, but now here you are. And that person will probably be like, I know your traumas. I know you just got out of a relationship and so, but I'll be here and help you work through it. But in reality, you don't know how affected or how, like,
yeah, like you could mess them up accidentally, like you could inflict the trauma that you have onto someone else.
Yes. So I believe that, you should take time for yourself after a relationship. I know some people can't be alone. They need somebody to be there for them. And, being alone is not good for them, but you never, like, it's something that you have to work on. It's not.
Yeah. I mean, there's a difference between being alone and isolating yourself.
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah. And being alone, like, you can still like hang out with friends, family, whenever you want to, basically. Like you don't have to be in your room, like with the candles on, just like meditating. That's beautiful. If that's what you want to do.
For
but,
sure.
Like being alone can be in moments. It doesn't have to be all the time.
Correct.
Yeah. It can be whenever you need space and time for yourself, take that time for yourself. And like cherish it too, because everyone's looking for a relationship. Once you find that person, it is a beautiful thing, but you're never going to be alone again. Ideally, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So, but I love what you said right there. You said, when you're looking for a partner and that you're going to spend time with that partner, you're not going to be alone. You're sharing obviously you're looking for someone to share life with, right?
Right.
So why not take your time to get to know someone and get to know yourself, what you like and don't like, because that person's supposed to be the it person. That person's supposed to be the love of your life. So why rush it? It's something special. It's something that it's not just supposed to be like, oh, I met. That's what I'm saying. Like what we were saying, you're not going to meet them at the club. People at the club are there to have fun. They're not there to find a relationship, serious relationship. Basically, just work on yourself, honestly. Heal yourself, love yourself, put yourself first, prioritize yourself. And you will, I believe you will attract that. And, you know, if you want to be in a situationship, be in that situationship, you know, you're that's your thing. No judgment here.
Yeah.
Do your thing. But I feel like, you know, if you want something serious, I feel like
stay true to yourself.
Stay true to yourself.
Be patient.
Do not break away from, you know, whatever your list may look like. Because I feel like you said it, we lower our standards. We want to change that list and lower our standards, and then it doesn't work out. So just stick to what you want.
Yeah, stick to what you know is
you deserve that. You deserve that. Okay?
Yeah.
I strongly believe like you deserve whatever you're looking for, and as long as you work on yourself, you will attract that.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys episode 3 for tuning in. Catch us on at HERizon Pod on Instagram and the socials.
Yeah. Thank you.
We'll see you next episode.